Okay, so this was what we were talking about in the last class, the comparison between the electrolysis of copper sulfate, aqueous copper sulfate using copper electrodes and using carbon electrodes. And actually the electrolysis of copper sulfate, copper 2 sulfate using copper electrode is actually the purification of copper as well. So it is one of the commercial use of electrolysis. You can use this. One more commercial use of electrolysis is electroplating, right? Electroplating is another commercial use of electrolysis that you need to know. Now we are going to talk about electroplating, right? So electroplating is the new thing that you need to know about this chapter. It's very easy. You need to know about this. What is electroplating? Electroplating is, you can say that, but so it is one of the process in which you are going to electroplate any of the substance by metal. So you can say that it is actually the process of coating substances. It is actually the coating of substances. It is a coating of substances by metals, right? You can coat any substance by metal. This process, this phenomena is known as what? Electroplating, right? So बच्चों, we know that अब तक हमने जितनी भी electrolysis की है, I think so you need to keep remember this बच्चों, that if sorry, अब तक हमने जितनी भी electrolysis की है उसमें आपने देखा होगा बच्चों, अब तक हमने जितनी electrolysis की है उसमें हमारे पास अगर metal बन रहा था, if copper is forming, if any metal is forming during the electrolysis, it is always going to form at cathode. ठीक है ना? वो हमेशा कहाँ बन रहा था बच्चों? Cathode पर बन रहा था, because cathode always attract what? Positive ions. Cathode is always going to attract positive ions. So अगर आप चाहते हैं कि आपके पास कोई substance हो और उस substance पर कोई metal deposit हो जाए, if you want कि आपके पास कोई substance हो और उस substance पर आपके पास metal deposit हो जाए, so the very first thing that you need to keep remember, for suppose I have a spoon, right? For suppose I have a spoon and I just want to coat what? Silver metal on this spoon, right? For suppose I have this spoon and on this spoon I just want to coat silver metal. So मुझे इस पे metal deposit करवाना है. I want metal on it. तो मुझे इस पे कहाँ लगाना पड़ेगा? All the metals are positively charged ion, so it should be at negative electrode. So you need to keep remember this बच्चों, कि the substance which is going to be coated is always at cathode. The very first thing that you need to keep remember is substance that is going to be coated should be at cathode. Should be at cathode. This is the first thing that you need to keep remember. जिस substance को आपने कोट करवाना है metal से, it should be at cathode. वो आप हमेशा कहाँ लगाएंगे? Cathode पे लगाएंगे. So you can see this कि मैंने इसको cathode पे लगा दिया. Negative is cathode. We know that. So I just place this at cathode, right? And then the metal, जो आप जिस metal से कराना चाहते हैं, तो उसको आप कहाँ लगा देंगे? Anode पे लगा देंगे. So you need to keep remember this. Second one will be anode. ये जो anode होना चाहिए उस metal का होना चाहिए जिस metal की आप coating करवाना चाहते हैं. तो right now we want to be silver coated spoon, so the anode should be made up of silver, right? So you need to keep remember anode should be made up of what? Metal, which is going to be coated, right? So the metal by which you are coating, you are going to coat, by which you are coating, right? You need to keep remember this. It is very important to remember. Just metal से भी आप substance को coat कराना चाहते हैं, when वो silver हो, copper हो, gold हो, whatever the metal you are going to plate on the substances, वो हमेशा anode पर लगेगा. और जिस substance को आपने coat करवाना है, it is always on cathode. This you need to know. This thing is going to be very important for MCQs and for paper 2 questions. Now, second thing is solution. Solution कौन सा होना चाहिए बच्चों? Solution जो आप यहाँ use करेंगे, there's this electrolyte वो electrolyte कौन सा होना चाहिए? You need to keep remember the electrolyte should be of the same metal. So you need to keep remember electrolyte जो आपके पास होगा, electrolyte should be the salt, right? Should be the soluble salt. Should be the soluble salt, right? So soluble salt होगा तो electricity conduct करेगा, right? Should be the soluble salt of same metal, right? Whatever the metal you are going to put on the substance on the spoon or right now, so उसी metal का salt भी आप लेंगे. So this solution right now should be the soluble salt of silver, and the soluble salt of silver is silver nitrate. So I am taking silver nitrate over here. Is that clear, बच्चा, every one of you? अभी हम कर रहे हैं silver coating. Right now we are doing what? Silver coating on a spoon. We are doing silver coating on a spoon. So you need to keep remember the substance which is going to be coated. जिस substance को आप coat करना चाहते हो silver से, you need to keep that substance on cathode, because we know that metals from positive ion always, so positive ion always going towards cathode. So you need to place the substance on cathode if you want to deposit metal on it, right? So the substances जो कि आप electroplate कराना चाहते हो, it is always on cathode. और अभी recently आपने reactive electrodes पढ़े हैं, तो आपने वहाँ देखा था if you place reactive electrodes on anode, so it is going to be consumed. So that is why we are placing silver anode, because I want or we want कि silver वहाँ से consume होकर solution में आए, right? And we want uniform solution जिसमें आपके पास सिर्फ silver के ions हो. That is why we need to have a solution as well of silver, right बच्चों? Is that clear?
तो एक क्वेश्चन था
जी बेटा पूछें.
ये इलेक्ट्रोलाइट वाला आपने क्या लिखा है, ये बात नहीं समझ आ रही.
Electrolyte is silver nitrate. You need to keep the solution with the same metal जो कि आप कोट करना चाहते हैं. जो मेटल आप कोट करना चाहते हैं उसी का soluble salt होना चाहिए electrolyte. ठीक है?
So sir, it means कि एनोड और इलेक्ट्रोलाइट दोनों के अंदर सेम आपको मेटल होना चाहिए.
Yes, exactly. बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं आप. सही है. अगर आप इसकी equations लिखते हैं बच्चे, so it is very easy now. बच्चों, how can you write the equation over there? We know that cathode पे हमेशा क्या होता है? Cathode is always remain same. The last reactive will go in towards cathode and deposit over there. So if it is aqueous solution of silver nitrate, we know that silver ions are last reactive. So silver ion are +1 charge. They will receive electron and start depositing at cathode. That is the same thing, you know, in electrolysis. And if you talk about anode, bacho, so we know that anode, if you place reactive metals, so they start dissolving. So right now you place silver metal over there, so it start losing electron and form silver ion and start depositing in the, or start dissolving in the solution, right? So you can say that what will be the observation over here? Anode dissolves, right? Or the size of anode, you can say that decreasing, and you will find what? You will find depositing of silver on a spoon. So you will find silver deposition on cathode, right, bacho? Is it right, every one of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so can you please frame one question for me? If I ask you to plate, for example, if you have knife and I want that you guys plate this knife with copper, so how can you establish a setup for this experiment, and also what are the equations and observation during this process? So I think it's very easy for you because you already did that in the last class. So this is the same thing, just a little bit changes, and you can say that the apparatus. So just do it quickly and send me the picture so I can check you are doing it right or not. Just do it. Okay, so the last thing of this chapter is fuel cell, and this is actually hydrogen fuel cell in our syllabus. Fuel cell, right? And this is hydrogen fuel cell. You can even name this as hydrogen fuel cell. In this fuel cell, is actually hydrogen is used as a fuel, right? This is hydrogen which we are using in this cell as a fuel, right? So you need to keep remember this, bacho, that they are actually, scientists are working on them, that some of the reactions should have like that कि जिसके अंदर pollution कम से कम हो और energy ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा release हो. So when they were working on this, so they have an idea about hydrogen being a fuel. So it is a good fuel, but there are some advantages and some disadvantages using hydrogen as a fuel. But it is a good fuel, or you can say that it is a good method in which you can easily convert chemical energy, or you can say that chemical reaction energy into electrical energy. This is something easier, or this is something good. You can say that the fuel cell is actually the cell, or it is actually, you can say that one of the process in which chemical energy, the energy releases due to the chemical reaction changes into electrical energy, right? आपके पास ये एक रिएक्शन है, आप कह सकते हैं रिएक्शन की जो एनर्जी होगी उसको हम कन्वर्ट करेंगे किसके अंदर, इलेक्ट्रिकल एनर्जी के अंदर. This is the same thing if you talk about electrolysis. It is just opposite as fuel cell, right? If you talk about fuel cell, अब देखिए फ्यूल सेल में और इलेक्ट्रोलिसिस में दिस इज कंप्लीटली यू कैन से दैट डिफरेंट थिंग. आपके पास इलेक्ट्रिसिटी थी, ठीक है ना, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी से हम इलेक्ट्रिसिटी प्रोवाइड करा के क्या कर रहे थे, रिएक्शन कर रहे थे, केमिकल रिएक्शन जो कि हो रहा था एनोड पर और कैथोड पर, राइट. सो दिस प्रोसेस इलेक्ट्रिसिटी के जरिए जो हम रिएक्शन कर रहे थे, इट वाज व्हाट, इलेक्ट्रोलिसिस, ठीक है. नाउ केमिकल रिएक्शन से अगर इलेक्ट्रिसिटी जनरेट होती है तो दिस इज व्हाट, फ्यूल सेल, राइट. सो दीज आर द टू थिंग्स जो कि ऑलमोस्ट एक दूसरे के अपोजिट है. हम पहले इलेक्ट्रिसिटी के जरिए रिएक्शन करा रहे थे. नाउ दिस इज द लास्ट पार्ट ऑफ द न्यू एडिशन इन योर सिलेबस, जिसमें हमें क्या करना है, केमिकल रिएक्शन के थ्रू जो एनर्जी रिलीज होगी उसको, उससे हमने इलेक्ट्रिसिटी जनरेट करनी है. इज दैट राइट बच्चों?
Yes, sir.
Now, if you talk about the electrolysis process in this cell, so if the cell is something like that, it will be like this. The cell, if I draw over here, so it looks like this. Or suppose we have a cell like this, right? In this cell, we have two, you can say that 2 or 3 compartments, and the compartments will be like this. That there is a compartment, right? A compartment over here, right, and a compartment over here. We have these 2 compartments like this, right? We have these 2 compartments, and this compartment, which is on the left hand side, it is actually connected with what, negative, right? And this compartment is actually connected with positive, right? And over here, from here, we are adding hydrogen, right? Over here, we are adding hydrogen over here, and from here, we are adding, or यहाँ से हम ऑक्सीजन को इन करें, right? So these are the 2 things जो कि हम यहाँ ऐड करें. और यहाँ पर एक और जगह है जहाँ से आपके पास रिमूवल हो रहा है. This is actually the path to water outlet. यहाँ से आपके पास water out हो रहा है, right? So actually ये है आपके पास diagram जो कि आपको यहाँ नजर आ रही है. You can say that over here in this diagram, this is a battery you can see over there, or the terminals you can see over there, positive and negative, right? You can see the hydrogen inlet and oxygen inlet and the water outlet, right? So let's talk about this one. This one is actually negative, and negative is what? Negative is anode, right? This one is anode. So let's talk about this one. This is anode, right? And it is actually made up of, you can say that made from or made up of a porous material. Porous material मतलब इसके अंदर थोड़े से आपके पास क्या होंगे, इसके अंदर holes होंगे, ठीक है ना. It is perforated, right? और you can say that इसके अंदर से कोई भी चीज जा सकती है, pass out हो सकती है, ठीक है ना. और इसी के अंदर इस ही एनोड के अंदर we have planted some platinum, जो कि यहाँ पर work करेगा as a catalyst, right? It will work as a catalyst over here, right? And this one, which is on the right hand side, is actually working as cathode over here, right? ये आपके पास क्या चीज है बच्चों? This is actually cathode, and this cathode is also a porous material, right? Cathode, you can say that it is also a porous material, right? And in this porous material, we have what? Cobalt oxide or platinum. दोनों में से आप कोई सा भी ले सकते हैं, cobalt oxide or platinum as a catalyst. दोनों में से कोई सा भी आप ले सकते हैं आपकी मर्जी है, ठीक है? This is actually what the setup, and over here we have solution as well in the center, right? In this center, in this compartment, we have solution as well, और ये solution होगा आपके पास NaOH का. This is electrolyte that we are using right now. यहाँ पर जो electrolyte है, this is sodium hydroxide. This is working as an electrolyte over here. Sodium hydroxide aqueous. Yes, is that diagram is clear for all of you, bachcho?
Yes, sir.
Now, अब होता क्या है इसके अंदर? If you talk about that right now, it's this cell. If you talk about this cell, bachcho, this is hydrogen fuel cell. It is most of the time used in, you can say that, power electric motors, right? These are actually, you can say that, fuel for electric cars as well, or power electric cars, right? You can say that it is about 70% efficient, right? It is about 70% efficient. So you can say that if you talk about advantages of this, so this fuel cell के advantages की अगर आप बात करेंगे, so this is 70% efficient, right? Which as a fuel, it is 70% efficient. And also one of the very, very most, you can say that, most beneficial thing about this cell is this is pollution free, right? This is a pollution free cell. It will not going to produce any toxic gas. It will only produce water. Water is the only product, right? This is the most, you can say that, the beneficial thing about this cell, right? This is going to produce only water. There is no pollution or any pollutant gas over there which is going to produce. And you can even say that it's good in energy as well. Good energy, efficient in energy as well. Efficient energy we will have over there for anything to start, right? This is one of the, you can say that these are actually advantages of this cell, right? Is that clear, one of you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, हमने क्या किया हुआ? We are actually having sodium hydroxide in the center, and we have porous plate as well on both sides, cathode and anode. They are porous, so that means the gases can go inside, right? Gases can go inside. So over here, if you talk about one of the reaction, over here, so for suppose you are adding over here hydrogen gas. You're adding over here hydrogen gas. So hydrogen gas will go inside. It will go inside and it will react with hydroxides present in the solution. It will react with hydroxides present in the solution, right? When it reacts with hydroxides, right? When it reacts with hydroxide, it will form what? Water molecule. It will form what, bachcho? Water molecules, right? And loss 2 electrons. It will loss 2 electrons, right? Hydrogen reacts with hydroxide ions, right? It will form water molecules and it will lose 2 electrons, right? And what is loss of electron? We know that. Where is the loss of electron happening? Loss of electron is always happen on anode. So this is working as anode due to the loss of electrons, right, bachcho?
Yes, sir.
That the next thing that you need to know is from the second from the opposite side. If you focus over there, oxygen is adding over there, right? Oxygen is adding over there. The water molecules are forming over here, are going to react with oxygen, and by the gaining of 4 electrons, the same equation that we did in dilute solutions, 4 hydroxide forms, right? The same equation we did in dilute solution at anode, right? तो उसका opposite है पूरा ये, ठीक है ना? You can see this, उसका completely opposite है. This is a gain of electron, and gain of electron is always occur at cathode. So this is working as cathode, right, बच्चों?
Yes, sir.
So you can see this over here कि हो क्या रहा है यहाँ पर, हो ये रहा है, एक तरफ से आपके पास ऑक्सीजन ऐड हुई, ठीक है ना? एक तरफ से ऑक्सीजन ऐड हुई, एक तरफ से हाइड्रोजन ऐड हुई. ऑक्सीजन ऐड होने जैसे ऐड हुई तो उसने वाटर के साथ रिएक्शन किया और हाइड्रोक्साइड बना लिया, और वही हाइड्रोक्साइड दूसरी तरफ हाइड्रोजन से रिएक्ट करके क्या बना रहे हैं, दोबारा से वाटर मॉलिक्यूल बना रहे हैं. तो इन बोथ ऑफ द केसेस इफ वी फोकस ओवर हियर, so the overall reaction is actually the formation of water molecules. So if you are adding hydrogen gas and it is reacting with oxygen, it is forming what? Actually water molecule. So this is the reaction that is happening, which is overall reaction over here. In this reaction, you can see this, that the only product is actually water, which is not a pollutant. So overall, the fuel is very important for us because it is going to produce energy as well, and also it is not going to produce any gas which is going to be dangerous for us or dangerous for the atmosphere of the world, right, बच्चों?
Yes, sir.
So this is actually the process of this cell that you need to learn about hydrogen fuel cell in your syllabus. And if you talk about disadvantage of this, so the only disadvantage of this is it is difficult, or you can say that costly, right? The one is this is the costly process, right? And the second is actually it is hydrogen. Hydrogen is difficult to store. Hydrogen is difficult to store, right? Hydrogen is actually a gas, so it is very difficult to store. It will show some leakages as well in the apparatus. So it is the thing which is difficult for us कि यार उसको store कैसे करना है. Otherwise तो ये बड़ा efficient हो सकता है. So that is why it is 70% efficient, and the problem is that the hydrogen is actually gas, so it always, or you can see this, that the molecular mass of hydrogen gas is very small, which is 2 only, so it will show the highest diffusion in the all gases, right? So that is why it is very difficult for us to make this gas store as a fuel, right, Bacho? Is that clear or not?
Yes, sir.
So
Sir,
this
there
is
are
what
also very less fueling stations for hydrogen for the motors that use hydrogen as a fuel.
Yes, the same reason. Due to this, actually the storage problem, not everyone is capable enough to store the gas, right?
Yes.
So that is why it is one of the disadvantage of this. We cannot store this well, so that is why it is actually somewhere you can say that this is one of the disadvantage, right, Bacho?
Yes.
So this is actually the end of electrolysis. You can